This is Fred Ricciani of TSC News, here to recap WWE Monday Night Raw from top to bottom. And holy doodle squat! On December 14th, 2015, Roman Reigns finally won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. My goodness gracious, it only took them, what? Couple months? 9 months? 12 months? It took so freaking long. I mean, what? 14 months, if you really think about it, going back to like September of last year. It was so simple on how to book Roman Reigns. All you had to do was just book him like a badass. Book him like Goldberg in his prime. But unfortunately, WWE wanted to make him John Cena light. Although they actually tried to make him the next John Cena, which it never works. It didn't work for Lex Luger when he followed Hulk Hogan. It hadn't worked for other guys when they tried to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just, it can't. The new top guy can't be like the previous top guy. Bob Backlund wasn't like Bruno Sammartino. Hulk Hogan wasn't like Bob Backlund. Bret Hart wasn't like Hulk Hogan. Shawn Michaels wasn't like Bret Hart. Stone Cold Steve Austin was like none of them. The Rock, etc., etc. Now, I'm not saying Roman Reigns belongs in that class right now. But he's a guy that has shown some flashes of something. I don't know if that something's the same something that Batista once had, that Randy Orton early in his career rising up once had, that John Cena has. But he's a guy that's had a little something. But bad booking, badly scripted promos, him losing over and over and over again. Actually, after trying to make him the new John Cena, it almost seemed like they were trying to make him the new Daniel Bryan. And neither approach was working. Yet somehow, some way, Roman Reigns, literally, within the last 48 hours, has turned his career around for the better. And in large part, thanks to WWE. Yeah, Roman Reigns always had the ability to be charismatic and to be a guy that can connect with the crowd. He's not the greatest at scripted promos or anything like that, but if you see him on ESPN and interviews outside of WWE, I mean, he comes off as a charming, likable, cool-ass dude you'd want to chill with. That wasn't reflected for months and months and months. And okay, that's fine. If you don't want to book him as a chill dude that people can relate to, you know what? Book him as a badass. And within 48 hours, okay, they had him lose to Sheamus again in a TLC match. Really good match, but the crowd just didn't care. Tough crowd in Boston. I felt so bad for Sheamus and Roman Reigns. And what happens? They had him at the end, finally, after all this time, since his time with the Shield, dating back a couple years ago, look like a badass. And he destroyed Sheamus. And he destroyed the League of Nations, or the League of Geeks as I like to call him. He destroyed Triple H to the point where the crowd chanted, "Thank you, Roman." So here we are, Monday night. I'm thinking, Jesus Christmas, they are going to screw this guy up again. Because that's what they do. Every time they have a little momentum with him, every time he starts to look good, they take 3 steps back. So what happens? Stephanie McMahon comes out, confronts Roman Reigns, says that he's going to have to face the music with Chairman Vince McMahon, who hasn't appeared on TV in over a year. And she slaps Roman Reigns like 10 or 15 times. It was insane. Your top babyface getting bitch slapped like that. But you know what? It's understandable. He beat up her husband. You can make the argument from a logic standpoint. He had no reason to beat up her husband because he lost the match, which was no disqualification, fair and square last night. But, in the old days, Roman Reigns would have speared her out of her boots. But, it's 2015, and men on women angles isn't really that cool anymore. And hey, I'm fine with that. I'm long past that. That's totally passé. But still, I don't know if I would have had Stephanie McMahon slap him a bunch of times. Maybe once. But yeah, I wasn't feeling that. So then, later in the show, we had Vince McMahon come out, who's looking a lot slimmer and more brittle. And look, the guy's 70 years old. I'm sure he still has a kick-ass physique for somebody his age, or even somebody 20 years younger than him. And it was essentially Vince McMahon's greatest hits. He had all the sound bites and who do you think you are? And, you son of a bitch. And it was kind of sad because on one hand, this Philly crowd was really hot. On the other hand, this definitely came off like a younger, more like, I guess, I don't want to say mainstream crowd, but like, I don't know if a casual fan crowd's even the right word. I guess just maybe more of a crowd of families and kids. That's the best explanation I could give you, because they did pop for the ECW stuff that appeared on the show. They did pop for Vince McMahon, but a lot of them were behind Roman Reigns, surprisingly. Really behind Roman Reigns. And, they kind of reacted to Vince McMahon, but you'd think that they'd react bigger considering the fact he hadn't been on TV in over the year and his character is a legend. But, yeah, it was weird. It was kind of a tepid reaction by Mr. McMahon standards for his comebacks. Most likely because it wasn't hyped either, and I should know that Vince McMahon actually interrupted a Bo Dallas R-Truth match, which was a complete waste of time, and I felt bad for both guys, especially Bo Dallas, who, for whatever reason, still wrestles in tighty whities that somehow got tighter and whiter and shorter. Ugh. So anyway, yeah, Vince McMahon chastised Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, like he was with Stephanie McMahon, smiled in the face of authority, laughed it off, came off like a complete badass, said, you know what, you want to fire me? Fire me. Fire me. And then Sheamus came out when Vince McMahon teased fighting Roman Reigns, which would have been interesting, and said, you know what, I'm so confident that Roman Reigns is going to get his ass whooped that I'll beat him up tonight for you, Vince. I'll make him apologize, and I'll even put my title on the line. And Vince said, that's not going to happen. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm thinking, oh, Jesus, they always do this. They always do the whole, oh, we'll give you a title match, and they tease it. Or they'll do the same thing like they did a couple weeks ago where, they'll say it's a title match, and then it'll end in disqualification or something. But no. Vince McMahon said, you know what, Roman? You will get your title shot, but if you lose, you're fired. So we had the title match at the end of the show. It was actually the main event. And, I should note, too, at the end of the segment, Roman Reigns got kicked in the nuts by Vince McMahon with no retaliation whatsoever. So I'm thinking, oh my God. Here's Roman Reigns, who's been booked by Roman Reigns standards this year phenomenally the last 48 hours or so. But the main event's coming up, and surely they're going to screw it up. I mean, I thought to myself, the only way that this can work is if Roman Reigns walks out champion and with him taking out Vince McMahon. And thank the wrestling gods, he did both. He beat Sheamus clean in the middle of the ring. He took out the League of Nations, which included Rusev and Del Rio on the outside. He Superman punched Vince McMahon. Spear, 1, 2, 3. Now, could the reaction have been a little bit bigger by the crowd for a world title change? And I can't even remember the last time the world title changed hands on Raw. I mean, I guess you could count the Dolph Ziggler cash in a couple years ago, but as far as like the main title, the WWE title, honestly, I really can't recall the last. I mean, outside of somebody vacating it, as far as like actually winning it on the show, it's been a long ass time. I off the top of my head, I really can't think of the last time. It's been that long that somebody's won the main title on Raw, but it came off like a big deal. Could it have been a bigger reaction? Yeah, but you know what? The show's really long. I'm sure there were some fans that were kind of skeptical. I mean, I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Like, are we really going to get a title change here? But we did. And they put over Roman Reigns huge on commentary. He posed. It would have been cool to see some pyro, but I guess it doesn't make sense for pyro considering the fact that he's not the authority's choice. And, Stephanie McMahon went to Connecticut to tend to Hunter while Vince McMahon was taking charge. And I guess right now we're in for an interesting WrestleMania season. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Roman Reigns' work. I don't have a problem with him. I think he's actually a lot better than people give him credit for. I'm just more sick of, I was more sick of the character. But if they keep booking him like this, I mean, look, man, I'm amazed just as everybody else. You know, I didn't think they could salvage this thing. I didn't consider the fault of his own. Yeah, he has his flaws here and there. But you know what? He's a talented guy. And at the end of the day, for me, I just want to, if you're going to go with a guy, I just want to see somebody booked strong. I want to see somebody be protected. And I want to see somebody get a legit shot at, succeeding. And for whatever reason, they just felt the need to hold off this title win, hold off this title win, hold off this title win. Give him the title at Survivor Series, only to have him freaking lose in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. I think they just woke up finally and said, you know what? This Sheamus thing sucks. This experiment sucks. It is a failure. Let's just give the title to Roman. The damage might already be done. It might. It might not. We will see. But in the last 48 hours, Roman Reigns has come off like the badass superstar he should have been booked like when the Shield broke up. And I got to give him props. However, that's one guy. John Cena's coming back. That's great. Undertaker's coming back part-time. That's great. Brock Lesnar's coming back. That's great. Daniel Bryan might come back. Maybe. That's a big maybe. That'd be great. But you know what? All those guys are baby faces. All those guys are a lot more over than Roman Reigns. On top of that, they have no heels. And look, I'm perfectly fine with the babyface finally getting a big win and setting the crowd home happy. It's been so long since we've had a babyface, truly succeed. I mean, outside of John Cena for a brief period, but we saw that a while. For a while now, the last decade. It's nice to see somebody outside of John Cena succeed as far as on the babyface side. So now the question is Roman Reigns going to sink or is he going to swim with all these stars coming back? And is Roman Reigns going to take his game to the next level? Is WWE going to continue to do him favors and put him in a position to take things to the next level? And are they going to put other guys in a position to challenge Roman Reigns and be viable contenders and be hot commodities? Because in reality, it's not just one guy that makes a promotion. And you could talk about John Cena and call him the franchise player and, say all you want about him and how he's drawn money. And yeah, I give John Cena nothing but respect. But John Cena, especially early in his career, had a lot of great guys to work with, and he held his own. But he had a lot of great guys to work with. He had Triple H, he had Shawn Michaels, he had Kurt Angle, he had Eddie Guerrero, he had a much younger Big Show who still had something left. He had Brock Lesnar. I mean, there were a lot of guys he worked with. He worked with a ton of stars, and it helped. It helped. Randy Orton, who was younger and fresher at the time, Edge, who was probably his best rival, CM Punk. I mean, every great babyface needs some great heels. And right now, I really don't see any great heels. Kevin Owens, he interrupted a Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose match. It ended in DQ, and he took out both guys. Kevin Owens now faces Dolph Ziggler on SmackDown, which will probably end in a non-finish, or it'll end in a finish that won't be acknowledged on Raw next week. So, but they need to do something. They need to build up some heels. They need to put some steam. Sheamus, to me, clearly isn't the answer. I guess you could turn Brock Lesnar heel. I really don't see the crowd turning on Brock Lesnar. More so, I see them turning on Roman Reigns. And there is still a part of me that thinks that ultimately, Roman Reigns is going to have to turn heel in order to get to that next level and then eventually turn back babyface. That's what I think. But I could be wrong. I was ready to proclaim his main event run dead. I was. But shockingly, surprisingly, Roman Reigns' main event run lives. And it's more alive than ever. So, look, when they suck, I tell them they suck. But when they do something good, even if it may or may not be too little too late, I got to give them their props. So, props to them for finally putting over Roman Reigns. Props to them for trying to make a new guy and recognizing a mistake. I do hope that they have some type of long-term plan. I don't necessarily mind seeing Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I do kind of have a problem with that if it does involve the title. If they're looking to keep the title on Roman Reigns for, I don't know, WrestleMania season at least, I would think that they would give Roman Reigns an opponent that's a full-timer, or at least a special part-timer that he can beat that would really put him over. I mean, Triple H and Roman Reigns, that'd be cool. For the title, I'm not really feeling that. Roman Reigns, John Cena, that could be weird in terms of crowd reaction, but at least it's intriguing. And you know what? If you do see Roman Reigns getting over like he has the last couple nights, it would be smart to put him over John Cena, pass that torch. And if that doesn't work out, you could always do something where Cena wins the 16th world title. You turn Roman Reigns heel. He could be the hottest heel in the company, and you can figure out from there. Or you could just go a different direction with the Dean Ambrose or Kevin Owens or Brock Lesnar or some other guys. Or you could do Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Just do face versus face and have Roman get the win this time. Or if you really think about it, you could do The Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. And you can have Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker. And if you don't have Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker, you can have, I mean, again, it all depends on how over Roman Reigns gets, how much momentum he has, how well he's booked and everything else. But, maybe Undertaker captures the title, one last great run. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of possibilities. I think, to me, you don't want to rush things. You want to see how it plays out. I'd say you'll give it a couple months, see what happens, and go from there. So, and I'm having WWE 2K in the background, and it just said that Call of Duty was updated, so that's cool. Maybe I'll play a little bit of that later after I'm done with WWE 2K16. But yeah, overall, this Raw, I mean, all things considered, the main angle was not that bad. Not that bad at all. It was actually pretty damn good. The only thing is, I just wish they did this the last year and a half, and had they had a real set plan and didn't keep changing their minds and switching gears and everything, I really do feel like this could have been built up better. I really do. Because, to have Vince McMahon come back unadvertised and do this whole thing, I mean, if you really think about it, in the last 48 hours, they did maybe a month or 2 months worth of storylines. Roman snapping, taking out Triple H, getting threatened by Stephanie, Vince McMahon threatening his job, winning the title, facing the repercussions. But desperate times call for desperate measures. And, well, they got desperate. They made this move. I'm not saying it was the best time for this move, but it's the right move. I would have liked to have seen this a couple months back, maybe even at SummerSlam. But, hey, here we are now. And given the circumstances, I totally agree with giving Roman Reigns the title. Again, it's not just about giving Roman the title. It's how he's used these next 4 to 6 months. And it's how the rest of the roster is utilized these next 4 to 6 months. So we will see what happens there. As far as other things that went on Raw, just to go over the show really quickly, we had Team ECW lose again to the Wyatt family in a really good Extreme Rules match. We had Alberto Del Rio and Rusev beat Jack Swagger and Ryback when Lana caused the distraction. She was rocking her kind of a hybrid of her old look and combined with a little bit of a new look. She was looking fine as always. Neville beat Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze still a mid-carder, now on the main roster. At least he's getting paid more. Miz came out and insulted Neville, but it didn't really work. Adam Rose did this really stupid segment. Again, I forgot what it's called. The Rosebud or Rose Blue. Whatever. I don't know what his segment is. It's a cheap version of the soup. It sucks. We had the New Day come out and congratulate the Lucha Dragons and Usos on a great match. Then they celebrated obnoxiously and the babyfaces beat them up. Charlotte and Becky Lynch defeated Alicia Fox and Brie Bella when Becky Lynch defeated Alicia Fox with the disarmer. Ric Flair tripped up Alicia Fox, but Becky Lynch didn't notice. This storyline sucks. Just bring back Nikki Bella. This storyline just sucks. And Ric Flair just comes off so creepy. It's weird. It's just weird. As I mentioned before, Bo Dallas and R-Truth went to a no contest. Ambrose and Ziggler essentially went to a no contest. And really, that's about it. All that happened. Nothing too crazy. As far as, in the middle of the show and everything. It's nice to see Dean Ambrose as your current Intercontinental Champion. But, for the most part, it was the Roman Reigns show. And, my buddy Scott Anderson says, my friend sent me a message. The live crowd was insane when Roman Reigns won the title. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. He says, it's been over a decade since the main title changed hands on Raw. Wow. Whew. I didn't know that, actually. That's pretty damn cool. That's pretty damn cool. So, yeah, we got a title change in free TV. I'm sure the people that watch TLC or were at TLC Live probably wish they got the title change there, but hey, at least you got the IC title, right? You know, could be worse. Could be worse. At least you got the IC title change. At least you got to see Roman Reigns beat people up and seemingly overnight resurrect his career. So let's take some questions before we get on out of here, or comments. Fred, who do you think's next for Roman? I really don't know. I hate to say it, but maybe Sheamus? I kind of hope they don't do Triple H versus Roman for the title at Mania, so perhaps they do Roman versus Triple H at Royal Rumble, which would be a hell of a Royal Rumble main event. AJ Adams says the title change should have happened at TLC. Yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but it is what it is. Suppaton says Kevin Owens for some reason is still going for the IC title, even though the Rumble is a month away. Well, why not? It's his title. He just lost it. Cody Collier says, I think we could see a 1-week title reign for Reigns because of him attacking Vince. Oh my God. Dude, if that's the case, forget everything I said tonight. Oh, yeah, I am holding my breath. Simeon822 says, was the blood on Roman's face in the script or was he just bleeding? No, he got busted open hard way. They're not allowed to blade, so yeah, it's TVPG. So yeah, he forgot to mention that. He got so lucky that he bled too. When's the last time we've seen a bleeding babyface outside of the Taker Lesnar Hell in a Cell match? Let's see. So we got even more sympathy. AJ says if Cena does cross paths with Roman, it has to be at Rumble or Fastlane. No way are they saving that for Fastlane, a B pay-per-view. And Royal Rumble's too soon because he's going to try to get his U.S. title back from Del Rio. So I think it will be WrestleMania. It kind of sucks to see Cena win the Royal Rumble if that's the case, but it's one of the biggest matchups and fresh matchups they could put together. So why not? It makes business sense, especially if the younger guy goes over at the end. Scott says July 25th, 2011, when Cena beat Ray was the last WWE main major title change. All right, so not over a decade. It feels like it was over a decade, but still, 4.5 years ago. That's quite a long time. Tim Stow says Reigns is the champ, and you can believe that. Oh, I do. Devin Boyce says he's subscribing. Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you very much. Let's see. Dan Foster says was a great climax at the end. Few good stops in tonight's show. Gemini says, I don't know why they're making KO still chase the IC title. I'd like to see him move on, but you know, it is what it is there. Okay, Marcel says Brock versus Roman WrestleMania 32 Part 2. That'd be fine. I'd actually like to see Roman Reigns get a little more offense and kind of beat the crap out of Brock, kind of like the Taker Brock matches, only a more athletic contest since Roman Reigns could do more at this age. I'd be fine with that. Two nights ago, I would have said no. If they book Roman Reigns like this, hey, why not? Why not? Gladiator says, surprisingly decent Raw. Philly crowd was at its best yet again. The crowd certainly enhanced it. That is for sure. Ibanez says Roman should keep the title for a long time. You know what? If they don't have any viable options, any strong options, and they don't want to give it to Brock Lesnar or John Cena or Triple H or any kind of part-timer, I'm totally fine with that. Totally fine with that. Let them keep the title until they build up a real heel. Why not? In retrospect, they probably should have never taken the title off of Brock. But, hindsight's always 20/20. Justin says Roman pulls the win at the same arena, just different matches. Yeah, that's right. Same arena as the Royal Rumble. And what a difference a year makes. Why is Becky Lynch still siding with Charlotte? Because they're booking her as a stupid babyface, and it's really hard to get sympathy for a stupid babyface? I don't know why. They think they're being clever, I guess. Jeremy Bauer says, I just hope this doesn't mean Triple H is winning the Royal Rumble. Oh, God. Listen, just do Triple H and Roman at the Rumble. Do Cena and Reigns at WrestleMania. Get it out of the way. Have him beat two legends in a span of 3 months. And, if he gets to that next level, then this whole rigmarole was worth it. And if not, at least you could say they tried and they could go back to the drawing board. I'm sure they wouldn't like that, but, at least they're trying here. At least they're trying. Kendall says Roman Reigns will now face Brock Lesnar, or they might just strip him of the title like Daniel Bryan. Oh, God. I wouldn't put it past them if they did the latter, but I really hope not. Man. Let's see. Who do you think the Wyatt family should feud with next? I'd like to actually see them go away for a while. But who will they feud with next? Good question. You know, I'd kind of like to see the Dudleys finally get the win over them, but bring in maybe Baron Corbin and another big guy. I don't know if they'll do that. And I don't know who else you could bring in. I mean, Rhyno and Baron Corbin would have made sense because they were a tag team in NXT. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, if it were me, Baron Corbin and another guy, or Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. Victor Production says, I'm going to subscribe to this channel. It is awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Let me see. I'll put another match in the background as I'm answering these questions. Let's make it random here. I don't really care. Let's do Stone Cold Steve Austin, and we'll do Seth Rollins. Screw it. Let's just have that there in the background. Okay, can someone tell me who won? William Kang. Roman Reigns won. He won the title, believe it or not. And he will be champion at least for 1 week. Now, for the love of wrestling gods, if they take the title away from him after a week, I'm going to go nuts. So hopefully they don't. Hopefully he stays champ for a while. You can make the argument that Triple H could screw him out of the title and Roman Reigns would have like a 1 or 2 month title reign. You know, if this was his first title reign and he wasn't screwed over at Survivor Series, I wouldn't have that much of a problem with that. But because this is his second one and he overcame all these odds, at this point I'd say just run with him. Just run with him. You know what I mean? Again, I would rather see Dean Ambrose in that position. I think Dean Ambrose would be better in that position for sure. You know, there's nothing against Roman Reigns. I just firmly believe that. But if they're going with him, roll the dice, protect him, book him like an actual top guy, not like a geek that loses all his big matches, and see what happens. Okay. Do you think that Sami Zayn is going to be called up? He was technically supposed to be called up in May, but he injured his shoulder in that match with John Cena on Raw. And so they called up Kevin Owens, and as they say, the rest is history. It would be cool to see Sami Zayn in the Royal Rumble, as AJ brings up. Scott says Vince has shriveled up prunes, not giant grapefruits anymore. Damn, dude, that's just cold. That's just cold. Who do you see Charlotte feuding with next? I would have said Becky Lynch, but since they're making Becky Lynch the dumbest babyface alive, I guess Sasha Banks. And yeah, Team Bad, by the way, was in the crowd in the front row, looking fine, but they were in the front row of the crowd at a show that they work for. Made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Do you see Seth Rollins coming back as a babyface? 100%. Do you see Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania? No. I would love to see that. I don't have faith that they will do that. Although, you never know. Maybe things have changed the last 48 hours. We'll see. Roman versus Cena at Mania? Yeah, I could see that. Roman Reigns will get 1 year as champ at least. That's saying something. I don't know if I'd do that. But you could. Well, listen, you could. I'd be fine with it. As long as he has opponents. John Cena had a couple title reigns that lasted about a year. But the thing with John Cena is, again, as I mentioned earlier, he had a lot of great rivals. He had, and at the time when he was still green, he had guys that could help him work through his struggles. I mean, he had Kurt Angle, he had Shawn Michaels, he had Edge, he had all these guys. And to Cena's credit too, he had great matches. They're not great matches, but like really, actually, did he have a great match with the Great Khali? I recall him having a shockingly good match with the Great Khali. Maybe perhaps by Great Khali standards, it was a great match. But I remember him during his 1 year reign actually having a couple decent matches with the Great Khali. He had a really good match with Bobby Lashley, who was pretty green at the time as well. So I mean, he eventually held his own, when he had to. So perhaps that'll be Roman Reigns' career trajectory, in some ways. I don't want him to be the next Cena. I still think they should book him as a badass, not a smiling babyface. He could chuckle here and there, but I don't want him to be a smiling babyface. But if he has good guys to work with, if they could put some steam on Kevin Owens, if they can maybe eventually turn Dean Ambrose heel and do a series of matches there. I mean, those are guys that know how to work, and they can help him out. And if he works with Triple H and he works with John Cena, and he gets more comfortable in that role, hey, again, sky's the limit. We'll see. I am happy that they finally pulled the trigger. Again, it may be too little, too late, but you know what? There's no point in speculating at this point because again, 48 hours ago, I would have told you, you know what? Roman Reigns is dead in the water. WWE is dead in the water creatively, and we'll just stick a fork in him. 48 hours later, I'm singing a different tune. Fans are singing a different tune. And whether you like Roman Reigns or not, wrestling's always a lot more fun when the crowd's involved, when the crowd's excited and engaged. And you don't have to like John Cena, but you always have to respect the reactions he gets. And I've been to so many live shows where Cena's headlined and been a part of, and the reaction he gets, it is something special. It really is. Will Roman Reigns get to that level? That remains to be seen. But folks, I want to hear from you. What did you think about Monday Night Raw? What do you think about Roman Reigns winning the world title? And bonus question, since if you're watching on YouTube, you're watching us play some WWE 2K16. What do you think about WWE 2K16? Let me know. Leave a comment below. Tweet us. Facebook us. Do what you got to do. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. Please share this with all your friends. Please don't forget to subscribe to TSC News, not just here on youtube.com/thesportscourier, but you can now subscribe on iTunes. Just search my name, Fred Ricciani, or TSC News. And you can subscribe on soundcloud.com/TSC News. You can also, if you would like to take these videos on the go, download them and watch them offline or listen to them offline. Maybe you're taking a long car ride, a long plane ride, you want to save your data. You can actually sign up for YouTube Red, which is YouTube's new monthly service, which gives you ad-free videos as well as other premium content. And some of the proceeds actually do go towards creators like myself. And, I have the service. Works great. Hell of a lot better than AdBlock, and it's definitely worth the money for me. You get a month free. And I'm not just saying this, because I'm a YouTuber. I'm somebody that said, I'll give this service a try. It's actually pretty good. So you get a free month, kind of like the WWE Network. It's definitely worth trying out and seeing if you like it or not. But yeah, there's a ton of ways to listen to us, so we appreciate the support. Thanks for everybody that's tuned in these last few days for our UFC coverage, for our TLC coverage. If you're new here, let me tell you what we got real quick. Tons of exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, Booker T, Mick Foley, Diamond Dallas Page, Edge. The list goes on and on. Recently, I just uploaded multiple retro reviews of all 6 TLC pay-per-views of the past, of course, including the one that just occurred on Sunday night. I got some WWE TLC simulations if you guys want to go back and check that out. We got a ton of WWE 2K16 content, and of course, we have live recaps that are kick-ass and interactive you won't find anywhere else. I will be back later this week with some NXT TakeOver coverage. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a live recap. At the moment, it's on the schedule, but I'll keep you guys posted. Either way, we got you covered. So until next time, everybody, take care. Please like and share. And as always, enjoy the matches and believe that.